Americans obviously are not living in paradise right now, living in something approaching hell, unable to find a job. The unemployment rate still above 9%. In about 10 minutes' time, President Obama is due to make another speech, this time in North Carolina, selling the American Jobs Act. He's trying, of course, to sell it to the American people and to Congress. Well, we're fortunate enough now to be joined by Congressman Robert Andrews, Democrat of New Jersey, joining us from the Russell Rotunda down there in D.C. Congressman, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Jonathan.
The president seems to be having a very tough job in selling the Jobs Act to Congress, to Republicans in Congress. Why so, do you think?
I think any elected official has a tough time selling anything in an environment where people are in so much pain and therefore are so doubtful. But I think he will succeed in selling his ideas because the public is warming to the proposition that something has to be done to create jobs here in our country. And I think by framing this as a choice between doing something and doing nothing, the president is gaining broad public support.
But do you believe it's a big enough idea? The ideas within there, are they big enough ideas, or is it a bunch of piecemeal measures which won't really get the country moving? Some, for instance, have said President Obama needed a much grander vision.
I might have made the plan a bit larger, but this is what we have. And what I am convinced of, Jonathan, is that not cutting taxes for businesses that create jobs won't help us. Raising taxes on every person who earns a wage in this country and the Social Security tax won't help us. And not rebuilding roads and bridges and ports and airports won't help us either. So, yeah, there's some other things that could be done. But the choice that's before us is this or not this. And I think what you're finding is that people who are not very political or ideological, but who are practical, are warming to this plan.
Is part of the problem, though, in getting anything done, Congressman, the fact that we are a little more than 12 months from a very important presidential election, as they all are, obviously, and everybody is going to be playing politics to some extent, rather than merely focusing on what do we need to do to get America back to work?
Politics is as common in Washington as oxygen. So no matter when you propose this, you're going to run into that. I think it's less important that we're 13 months away from an election, and more important that many people are 13 days away from being evicted from their home, or they're 13 days away from losing their unemployment benefits permanently. And so there is such a sense, understandably, of urgency among the American people that I think it makes the political calendar fairly irrelevant here.
Do you believe that President Obama can be re-elected with a jobless percentage over 9%, Congressman?
Yes, I do. I hope, frankly, it is far lower than 9% as soon as possible, but I think the American people will choose between the way he wants to take the country and the alternative offered by his opponent or opponents. And since we don't know who those opponent or opponents are at this point, it would be premature, I think, to judge his prospects for re-election. The election next November will not be a referendum on President Obama. It will be a choice between or among candidates.
And do you think that that choice will be decided, though, on the economy? Jobs presumably is going to be, certainly is right now, and will still be issue number one for the electorate. That presumably puts the president in a very difficult position, given what we've seen historically with jobless ratings and re-election of presidents.
Yes, I do think the economy will be the major issue in the campaign. Yes, the president is at a disadvantage because the economy is lousy. I just think that's a reality. But the choice that people are going to make is the direction he's taking us the right one or not? I think it is. But obviously there'll be a candidate or candidates that will offer a competing vision. The American people will make the choice.
Do you think Republicans in Congress, your colleagues there on the other side, are behaving responsibly in their reaction to the Jobs Act?
So far, yes. I think that their rhetoric was toned down. Speaker Boehner said that he wanted the bill scored, meaning to figure out how much it's going to cost, which is quite reasonable. But I think that if you ask me that question this time next week, and they haven't started having hearings on this bill and moving toward putting it for a vote, then I think that is irresponsible. I think that no one has the obligation to vote for this bill, but I think everyone has the obligation to vote on this bill. And I think to ignore a proposal from the President of the United States at a time of national urgency, I think, yes, would be irresponsible.
How quickly can it be voted on, Congressman? How quickly should it be voted on, in your view?
I don't see why we can't thoroughly understand this idea, understand all of its pluses and minuses, and take a vote within 30 days of the President's speech. I see no reason why we couldn't do that.
But politics will inevitably play a role in this.
Of course it will. I mean, this is a political institution. The question is whether it is constructive politics where people, legitimately debate their differences of opinion, or whether it's destructive politics where people try to win the next election, make the other guy look bad, and are only doing something for that reason. The American people are absolutely fed up with destructive politics from both sides. They want us to work together, pass a jobs plan, and do whatever we can reasonably do to put people back to work.
All right, Congressman Robert Andrews, Democrat of New Jersey, an honor to have you on the show with us today. Congressman, thank you very much.
I'd love to do it again, Jonathan. Thank you.
All right, we'll have you back.